right, how's everybody doing today? Good. All right, my name is Captain Timber. I'll be your tour guide today. Coming down the aisle here behind me is Captain Rusty Tiller. He's going to keep us safe. That's you today. He's going to keep us safe out on the streets, out on the water. Welcome to Ride the Ducks of Seattle, Seattle's one and only land and water tour. Wow, it's quite the introduction you got for yourself. All right. Ooh, there. There you go. We're going to go around town. We're going to go see the old part of town, the new part of town, and do what you want to do in the first place. Now let's go put this thing in the water. Everybody knew we were going in the water today, right? Yeah. All right, sometimes you get people who don't know that, and they freak out a little bit when we start heading towards the water. Just going. You got it? Is this thing reading? It's first tour of the day. User error. What's it say? This is the one. Here we go.
Notice Coast Guard approved.
New stereo. Up to good. All right, we're good to go. We're moving. No refund. It's your mind for the next 90 minutes. Thank you, Micah. We're at the mean streets of Seattle here. Ooh. We're passing by the Mopop, Museum of Pop Culture, owned by the late, great Paul Allen. He was one of the co-founders of Microsoft. You can go in there and see Captain Kirk's chair from the Starship Enterprise. The motorcycle from Easy Rider, the red, white, and blue one, that's pretty cool. And lots of rock and roll memorabilia. One day he reached in between the cushions of his couch and he pulled out $240 million he didn't know that he had. He had that building built by world-renowned architect Frank Gehry. There's not one piece on that building that's identical to any other piece of that building. Located on the edge of the Seattle Center, which is the site of the 1962 World's Fair. But Paul Allen loved rock and roll. He was actually a pretty accomplished guitar player as well. But he really loved this guy. Let's see if anybody knows who this is. It's a local Seattle guy.
Jimi Hendrix.
Jimi Hendrix. Born and raised in Seattle, went to Garfield High School.
Hendrix.
At the end of every concert, Jimmy thought that he had played the life out of his guitar. So he would smash it on stage and light it on fire. And that's what a building is supposed to look like. And it does, if you're really high. Like on top of the Space Needle, looking down on top of it. The World's Fair was all about the future, and nothing says the future quite like the Jetsons. Base of the Space Needle, 605 feet tall. Foundation is 120 by 120 by 30 feet. We'll talk more about the Space Needle when we can actually see the top of it when we get further out in the city. Now the lines over there today, it looks like there's too many people around there. As the weather gets nicer, the lines get longer and longer and longer. Any fans of Grey's Anatomy on board? Take a look on the left-hand side. You recognize that building right there? That's where they do all the exterior shots of Seattle's Grey's Hospital. But it's really come before News. It's a radio and television station. So don't go in there looking for Dr. Stevie McDreamy, because he's dead. He got hit by a truck called Contract Negotiations. And then that poor Patrick Dempsey, he bought Tully's Coffee and they went bankrupt. So a lot of bad life decisions on his part. What's going on over here at the Seattle Center? Children's Museum, right here, the second largest indoor tropical butterfly exhibit in the world. It's 80 degrees in there. We're heading into Belltown. This used to be a rundown area of town. It's about 10 or 15 years ago. A lot of money was infused down here. You can sell the high-end condos and apartment buildings, restaurants, nightlife. But one thing that remains the same here is the Crocodile Cafe, and it's about 4 blocks down 2nd Avenue here to the left. It's on the National Historic Landmark list. That's where back in the late 80s, early 90s, grunge started. Bands like Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, Mother Love Bone, Mudhoney, Presidents of the United States, Screaming Trees. It's still a very active music venue. In the back there's a cafe where you get $5 pizzas at happy hour. They have all the pictures, mosh pits, and crowd surfing from back in the day. So all the Gen Xers, you can actually take your kids in there and show them what was cool. If you look up on the wall, you can see a picture of your Captain Timber. I was a sophomore in college at a Mudhoney show thinking I was really cool. I had super long hair at that point. I don't anymore, and I don't want to talk about it. It's over. We're going into a quiet zone right here. It's across the street here. As you come around the corner, you're going to start to see your first shots of Elliott Bay. And if anyone is very easily offended, please don't look at the fountain on the right-hand side because these are naked people. Oh, the Olympic Mountains are out. 90 miles away over on the Olympic Peninsula. That's where the sparkly vampires are. Twilight Zone. Team Jacob, Team Edward. Passing to Seattle, Port of Seattle. This is home of the Victoria Clipper. This is the fastest catamaran in the Western Hemisphere. It'll get you up to Victoria, BC in 2.5 hours. Victoria, British Columbia is the oldest city on the West Coast. I'm playing a song by the Beatles. Why? Because they're passing the Edgewater Hotel. This is where the Beatles stayed in 1964. It was the third stop on their North American tour, right after they were on the Ed Sullivan Show. This is the only hotel in Seattle at that time that would host the Beatles because all the rest of the hotels were afraid of teenage girls. They built a 300-foot fence around the outside of it, made out of plywood, barbed wire, keep all the groupies out. 2 girls managed to sneak in the laundry cart. Iconic picture taken of the Beatles fishing out a hotel room window was taken out that back wall right there. It's on the inside of the Rubber Soul album. Next building is on Pier 66. This is one of Seattle's 2 cruise ship terminals. Last year we had 212 sailings going up to Alaska. That was over 1.5 million tourists coming through town. Each time of those cruise ships ports in Seattle, it brings $2 million into the Seattle. We don't have an income tax here. We just have sales tax. So keep buying stuff while you're here. Elliott Bay over there. Oh yeah, they're getting ready for the boat show here this weekend. 100 feet tall, takes you 40 feet out over the water. An adult ticket is $14, and that's round trip. It's located on Miners Landing. This spot in July of 1897, the SS Portland showed up. That was a steamship that came down from the Klondike. It had a rumored 1 ton of gold on it. That day, about 5,000 people came down here to see what 1 ton of gold looked like, and it wasn't 1 ton of gold. It was actually 2 tons of gold. High flats. The water used to go all the way up to First Avenue or Front Street. This is all filtered. This elevated highway is about 70 years old. In 2001, we had a big earthquake here, the Nisqually quake. Gave this whole area a pretty good shake. Lots of cracks in that thing now. It's actually sinking a little bit each year. So we solved our problem because we just finished digging a big tunnel underneath the city. It took us 17 years to do it. If anyone's from the East Coast knows anything about Boston's Big Dig, we just finished our Big Dig. Fire on his hands. And what's the last thing you want to do with a grease fire? Put water on. So John Back picked up his bucket of water, tossed it right on top. Local folklore says he started to hit it with a broom or a 2x4 or something. 1 million rats. And it gave us a chance to start over. First new rule after the city burned down. No more wooden buildings. Everything you see is on the right-hand side. Stay on the hammering man. 48 feet tall, 26,000 pounds. Standing guard outside the Seattle Art Museum, and it's $1 billion worth of art. Wow. He's swinging that hammer up there 4 times a minute, 364 days a year. He only gets 1 day off. Labor Day. He's on First and University. We believe that he's up on this next intersection, which is First and Union. So we got more days off, better contract, benefit package. Do you know what a benefit package is? Neither do I. I'm going to talk to HR right when we get back. Are they back from Florida yet? They were down there for Easter. I don't know if they're back yet. Blocks long, 300 stores, only 1 franchise. Starbucks, the original Starbucks, 1971. Starbucks started out as a coffee roaster, coffee samples on the side. Now it's completely different. It's all coffee, double tall, skinny, mocha, unicorn with sprinkles, and a sign of diabetes for the kids. The most photographed sign in the city of Seattle is coming out the left-hand side. It's the public market sign. Number 5 on Instagram. I'm number 4. Keep looking left, nothing to look out on the right-hand side. Lots of great restaurants. Place to get an adult beverage right there. El Bucaraco, great burritos and pineapple jalapeno margaritas. Stick with 1. I watched my wife drink 2. It was kind of fun. Stand outside the restaurant before they go in to eat and they're talking about Tom's butt. This is where that was taken right here. So you see a lot of reenactments here. Lots of people taking pictures here. We're going to start heading up to the southern edge of L-Town. Lake Center. For all the ladies on the duck, Christian Grey, 50 Shades of Grey, Escala condominiums. These are them right here. Most expensive condos in Seattle. I can't talk anymore about it. It's a family tour. My hands are tied. Something about a gag order. I don't know what's going on there. All right, we're about to go underneath the monorail, an exhibit built for the 1962 World's Fair. 2 trains, 2 tracks, 2 stops, $2.50. The innovation will be open again soon. This is Fair Start. Great food, better lives. This is a non-profit organization. They help people who are homeless, disenfranchised, recently incarcerated, get back on their feet. 16-week program. They give them room and board, and they teach them all aspects of the restaurant industry, the front of the house, the back of the house. They basically just teach them how to be really good employees. They have about a 92% success rate over here. Look at those big glass globes over there. Wow, wow. Okay, now everybody look at me. Don't look at those globes. Everything in our store is half off today. Okay, now we can look left again as we go past Lenore Avenue. Look back up there. Amazon Biospheres, Indoor Tropical Rainforest, $1.6 billion to build. Welcome to Amazon.com, the world's largest retailer. Day one building right there. That's where Jeff Bezos' office is. He is currently the richest man in the world. He's got some domestic stuff going on at home. He won't be the richest guy for long. All 30 square blocks here, all Amazon.com. This is where their employees work, live, and play. 40,000 employees in this neighborhood. They're going to take that number up to 70,000 in the next 5 years. You'll notice the Amazon employees are going to have blue lanyards and blue name tags. What's going on in the day one sales? That's good to go. So Amazon's going to open 5,000 of those stores in the next 5 years. They're going to try to give 7-Eleven a run for their money. 7-Eleven only has 6,000 stores nationwide. Better watch out. Average age of Seattle, 34 years old. Doing all the tech kids that are moving here. Amazon's still 8 blocks ahead of us, 5 blocks that way, 5 blocks that way. You'll see lots of dogs down here. You're encouraged to take your dog to work at Amazon. Over 2,500 dogs go to work every day. Dog walking parks on their corporate buildings, food and water everywhere. What's the best thing about taking your dog to work? You don't have to go home to walk it. You can work 22 hours a day. You never have to leave. Before selling books out of his garage about 10 miles east of here in Bellevue. His first sale was for $29 to a man named Wainwright. He's now the richest man in the world. When Amazon first started out, it was pretty skewed towards the guys, about 90-10 ratio male to female. Now it's about 65-35. It's getting better. But of that 65% that are male, about 80% of them are single. So ladies, if you're looking for a new guy or a husband 2.0, this could be your hunt grounds. You can get you anything you want with 2-day shipping. Which wear like Star Wars sheets and Big Bang Theory t-shirts. They got their own Tesla showroom coming up on the left-hand side. Electric cars. Basically, you just go in there and you test drive the cars. You can't buy one directly from them, and then you order it online there, and they make it, eventually you get it. So Amazon has 29 buildings right now, a few under construction. When they finish the ones currently under construction, they'll have 34. They're going to have over 10 million square feet of office space in Seattle. So over 50% of the total office space. Now you won't see the Amazon logo on any of their buildings. They stay incognito, but they give their buildings names. This building in here, look at the door, it says The Life. The next building is named Nessie after the Loch Ness Monster. That's to be a restaurant only for dogs opening next week. This building here is named Bigfoot. The newest building under construction, right over here on the other side of the Guitar Center, is going to be named Wainwright after the guy that made that initial purchase in 1994. Another building is named Arizona Doppler Rufus, which is named after one of the CEO's little corgi dogs. All kinds of stuff. Who owned all this property before Amazon was here again? Paul Allen, the co-founder of Microsoft. He was going to develop this whole area. He first wanted to put in a park, some retail. Kind of got some backlash from the city, so he bowed out of that. Had to find another guy to buy it. He found that in Jeff Bezos, who bought all 30 blocks for $3 billion. The 4 buildings over here currently under construction. It's a future home of Google Earth. They'll be moving all their employees up here before too long. And here is South Lake Union. That's the lake we're taking the duck into. We'll be there in about 12 minutes. Ooh, that lady is doing a serious crazy walk. Did you see that? She must watch right in front of us. Yeah. I believe this is the best museum in the city of Seattle over here. This is the Mohai, the Museum of History and Industry. You can go in there and you can see the original glue pot that burned down the city of Seattle there. Replica of Bill Boeing's first float plane. And as we turn the corner, we'll see a float plane right here up here at the Kenmore's dock. This is Kenmore Air. This is the largest float plane company in North America. They'll get you up to the Salmon Islands, Canada. As we go down Westlake, it's all about boats. If you want to buy a boat, rent a boat, insure a boat, fix a boat, moor a boat, this is where you come to do it. We're going to see lots of boats.